Hey, hi guys. Welcome to Abhyasa presents the dbGet playlist. So simply now we are exploring the dbGet commands with ease on the Innovus database, which is very useful and for you to embed these commands in the tickle scripting and go for a smooth execution of your design automation. So now, in the previous session, if you would have remembered, we have discussed the three classifications of the dbGet commands, that is head, selected, and top, right? So we discussed a couple of commands in the head and selected, and now we are going to the top, right? So when we get along, we will have some necessaries, some necessities where we have to come back to those head and selected. But currently, now let's focus on the top, and here is our blog spot, um, you know, where we can find all the requirements, and then we would tally it to that particular command, and let's have a real-time visualization in that. So now let me clear the screen, and yeah, we have the database. Let me show you the database quickly, what we are working. And this is a post-out database. And now let's start our quest. So the first thing, get the size of your block. So how do you get the size of your block? So I told you. So whatever is being asked regarding your design, so you would have to use top, which is one of the three categories. So now I would use dbGet top dot. Okay, I'll give the tag. So you can see different attributes for your particular design. So what do you think? What would be the best so the best fit attribute so that that would give you the size of your block, right? So what would you think? Just think for a moment, guys. Okay, maybe you can pause the video and think. Fine. So let me answer. So here I would find F plan. F plan is nothing but the floor plan. So the size of my design would somehow relate to my floor plan, right? So let me give it a try. So F plan, right? So now in my design, okay, it has a set of attributes that is mapped to a single word that is projected here, F plan. So now those set of attributes will reveal if I click a tab after F plan. Here it is. So we have area, we have boundaries, box area. LL means it will give you the lower left x and y coordinates, and LLX will give you the lower left x coordinate. LLY will give you the lower left y coordinate if your box is a rectangle. And then the box size. So this is what we want, right? So I would just give box underscore size. Let me check what I get. So this is my box size. So it has given the width and the height of the block, right? So let us see what we have on our website. So what it actually meant. Yeah, it is the same. It is the same. So yeah. So now let's go to the next requirement. So it is get the area of your block. So it is very easy because we have just seen. So this is the advantage of dbGet command. So whenever you intentionally explore a command, just try to check what is there here around, what else are the properties here around. Then trust me, you would definitely get you know a requirement which is related very closely to the previous one that you have actually explored for. So in that time, you it would take very small amount of time for you to get back to it. So now I have just seen the box size. So the area also lies here. So that's why I would directly so my memory will easily recollect and top dot at plan dot area. It would give me the area. Here the scale is in microns. So I would say this is 440.681 millimeters. Okay. Okay, that's good. So what is the next? Next, what is the task here? Find all the block level port names. Okay, so ours basically is a block. So the port is something which is an interface communication media. So that would come under the top level pins. Okay, so the port and the pins are actually referred in the cadence as terms. Okay, if we get top dot terms. So top dot terms. So if we want to get the pins of an instance, then we'll go for dbGet top dot inst dot instance. Okay. So cell dot cell terms. Okay. So the term in the sense it is a pin. So the block level pins, okay, will be the ports. Okay. So the terms. So if you're doing the top dot terms, then they are ports. So I would just want the name of my ports. These are the name of my ports. And if I want the length, or I mean, how many ports are there in my design? If I want it, I'll just do uh, the length. So I have 424 ports in my design, right? That's how it goes. And then find the metal layers used in the block level IO ports. Okay. So this is something that we can actually deduce it from our previous command. What is the question? All the metal layers that are used for the top level IO ports. So I would need to check what could be the attributes of my top level ports. So I would just give a tag. So these are my attributes of my top level ports. So is there something called layer here? Yeah, there is something called layer, right? So I would just type layer dot names. Okay. So basically for all the 424 ports, I have you know I have a very big list here that is actually showing me that only M2 and M3 are used as the layers of for the terminals of the ports. Okay, so here I would not want to actually see this much big list. I would just want to concise it and reduce the redundancy. So I would just give hyphen e. This would give me this would reduce the complete redundancy of my data. So hyphen u will uniqueify the data and it will completely flush out the redundancies. Okay. So what is the next question we have? Find the metal list that is done. So get the count of the block level ports. That is also done. So we have given the length. Get all the input and output ports. Okay. So how to get all the input and output? So we have got the ports. So is something like input and output an attribute for the terms, top terms? Let us check top terms and we'll give a tag. And I'll search for something like if there is something input or output here. Yeah, I found something like this. Okay. So now this is a bit tricky. Like you need to play with the Boolean algebra. So if I give this attribute is input, okay. So I would need to give is input one. One means true. Okay. That means I would like to find. I'm interested in the input terms. Okay, now I'm interested in the input terms, but I'm also interested in the names of my input terms. So I would need to go to a, nested dbGet command. I would do dbGet and then dot me. So these are all my input terms. So this is pretty clear, right? So hyphen p1 refers to the terms, and you know why I give hyphen p1 because when I go to the nested dbGet, I need to point out on what uh, on what actual thing I'm querying, okay, on what actual object I'm querying on the nested dbGet. So I need to mention that internally. So what's next here? Get all the input and output push. So similarly, if I give is input 0, I get output push. These are all my outputs. So there might be some bidirectional ports. So here the signal ports cannot be a bidirectional port. We will have um we'll have IO pads. If it is a full chip, then IO pad is always a bidirectional. Yeah, and VDD is also is bidirectional. So next, get all clock and scan clock pins. Okay. So yeah. So this one, let's check what we have here. Um. Okay. Something when the requirement is about clock pins. Okay. Then what would be the clock? Clock is something that is an attribute of a pin. Okay. So clock pins means when we are putting something as a prefix for the pins, so that would actually become its attribute. So if I give dbGet clock dot terms dot tag, so I will have something like this clock. So if it is a clock port or not, if it is a scan clock port or not. So while we are defining the clocks on the ports, so then that port will automatically imbibe the attribute for it as a clock. So I would just give is clock one. And if it is clock, just is clock, and if it returns one, then it is a clock port. If it doesn't returns one, it is not a clock. But here, am I giving some name to check on? No, right? So I would actually give is clock one. I want all the clock ports of my design, right? And I would just give db get control E dot name. And here I should mention a pointer I can leave. I want the names of the layers. This kind of errors will actually waste your time. So so actually the port is not defined on any port. The clock is not defined on any port. It is it is defined on some internal mux pin or something. So that's why we haven't got some here. So yeah, guys, I think that's all for today, and maybe we can start exploring even more debate commands in the further sessions. So stay tuned. Thank you. And please like, share, and subscribe the session so that even your friends would get to know about this playlist and make use of it. And please find our handles, social media handles in your description in the description of this video, which will enable way more gateways to explore the knowledge in the VLSI presented by APS. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.